Good evening, members of the committee. So my name is Kate Weldon LeBlanc, and I'm really proud to be the executive director of a nonprofit organization called Resolve New England. And we help people all throughout our beautiful region of New England, including Rhode Island, that are struggling to become parents. And we do that through education, support, and political advocacy like I'm doing right now. And I want to echo your praise and gratitude for Mike. I agree with that. And Resolve New England strongly supports both Senate 789 and Senate 497. And we have supported this policy change over the past several years, and I will say our passion for it has only grown as we've had the privilege of getting to know some of the families that you have heard from tonight. And we were very happy to meet Maura and her daughter June on the House side. I think their stories really illustrate what we're talking about that can seem kind of a little deep in the details maybe, but obviously there's real people behind each of these stories. So as I said, our organization is focused on anyone in New England struggling to become parents. My husband and I were two of them years ago. We are now the very grateful parents of an 11-year-old daughter after IVF, who after this hearing will be hearing about vaping later. So she already has, but it's been reinforced to her mother tonight as well. But seriously, I will say, as others have stated, Rhode Island has been really a leader on policies regarding infertility, family building, and fertility treatment. And I see this as a natural next progression in that history of leadership. And I know sometimes leaders like to sometimes chart new territory and be kind of the first to do something, and sometimes that's great. But I also think sometimes it's great when excellent work has been done on legislation for you. You don't have to be first. You don't have to chart new territory. I really feel that the Rhode Island Parentage Act that's before you is an excellent bill that wonderfully educated and thoughtful people have put lots of time and effort into. So to me, I will say I feel like it's truly a no-brainer, and I don't say that lightly. But I think the concerns that have been raised can be addressed, and in some cases, I think refuted. And other than that, I think there's really not a lot of opposition. I wanted to share that just coincidentally, this is National Infertility Awareness Week. And there are many families, many individuals and couples that desperately want to be parents and are working really hard and through a lot of physical and emotional strain and sometimes financial strain to do so. And they certainly deserve the protection of parenthood as early as possible, regardless of the structure of their family and their gender. And we feel strongly that should be. I mean, I'm not, in the interest of time, I'm not going to restate things that have been said before. We submitted written testimony also on both bills. But I will say, I think people have demonstrated and will continue to do so tonight, the emotional strain that's caused by, for example, having to adopt your own children in the case of many of these two-mother families. And I think the emotional side, I think, has been made clear and will continue to be. Also, what struck me is just the resources that are being spent on this, when obviously resources is always something very much on all of your minds as policymakers. It is not a good use of resources to have excellent parents who have worked this hard to be parents have to prove their worthiness to adopt their own children. So I will leave it there and let my written testimony speak for me in the interest of time, but I'm also happy to answer any questions.